They say the darkest corners of the human soul hide monsters that walk among us, blending into society while harboring unspeakable urges. From the blood-soaked legends of ancient nobility to the charming predators of modern times, serial killers have etched their names into history with blades of terror and rivers of blood. These figures, like the mysterious Jack the Ripper or the enigmatic Ted Bundy, continue to generate both horror and morbid curiosity. Their gruesome crimes have sparked terror and intrigue for centuries, confounding investigators and inspiring movies, music, and endless academic study. In some cases, the true toll of their violent outbursts remains unknown, leaving us to ponder the depths of evil. In this video, we'll dive deep into the chilling tales of 15 notorious serial killers who left their bloody mark on history. Prepare yourself. These stories are not for the faint of heart. Let's get started. We begin in the shadowy halls of 16th century Hungary with Elizabeth Báthory, born in 1560 to a powerful noble family. Known as a blood countess, Bathory was a wealthy noblewoman accused of torturing and murdering hundreds of young women and girls, primarily female servants and minor nobility, between 1585 and 1610. Legends claim she bathed in their blood to preserve her youth, a gruesome ritual that allegedly inspired Bram Stoker's vampire novel, Dracula, in 1897. Arrested in 1610 after complaints from local families, Bathory faced trial, where witnesses testified to horrific acts of sadism, including beating, burning, and freezing victims to death. Though never convicted due to her status, she was walled up in her castle until her death in 1614. The Guinness Book of World Records still lists her as the most prolific female murderer, with estimates up to 650 victims. However, recent debates, including a 2024 BBC article on academic efforts to clear her name, suggest she might have been framed by political rivals or that testimonies were coerced under torture. Her case blurs the line between fact and folklore, but the sheer scale of alleged atrocity cements her as a symbol of aristocratic depravity. As we'll see, such unchecked power often breeds unimaginable horror. Shifting to 19th century America, Belle Gunness, born Brynhild Paulsdatter Storseth in Norway in 1859, emigrated to the U.S. in 1881 seeking fortune, but at a deadly cost. This Norwegian-American serial killer, nicknamed Hell's Belle, lured men to her Indiana farm through Lonely Hearts ads, promising love and land. Instead, she poisoned or bludgeoned them for insurance money and property. Authorities uncovered over 40 dismembered bodies on her farm in 1908, including her children and suitors, after a suspicious fire razed her home. Gunness was presumed dead in the blaze, but doubts arose when the recovered body didn't match her size. Her hired hand confessed she staged it and fled. Theories persist. Some say she resurfaced in California under a new name. Others believe she continued killing until the 1930s. A 2025 book, Belle Gunness, The Princess from Hell, explores these mysteries, suggesting she escaped justice entirely. Her cunning manipulation of vulnerable men highlights how greed can turn a seemingly ordinary widow into a monster. Gunness vanished without a trace, leaving investigators baffled and her true victim count unknown, perhaps as high as 100. Next, enter H.H. Holmes, born Herman Webster Mudgett in 1861 in New Hampshire, America's first documented serial killer and a master of deception. Adopting the alias Holmes from his pharmacy work, he built the infamous Murder Castle in Chicago during the 1893 World's Fair, a 3-story hotel rigged with secret passages, gas chambers, soundproof rooms, and a basement crematorium for disposing of bodies. Luring victims, often young women seeking jobs, he tortured, asphyxiated, or dissected them, selling skeletons to medical schools for profit. Holmes confessed to 27 murders while in custody, but estimates range from 20 to 200, including associates killed for insurance scams. Apprehended in 1894 for murdering accomplice Benjamin Pitzel, he was hanged in 1896 after a sensational trial. His crimes inspired Eric Larson's 2003 book, The Devil in the White City, blending history with horror. Holmes' calculated evil, disguised behind a charming facade, shows how innovation can serve the darkest impulses. The Murder Castle, demolished long ago, still haunts Chicago's lore as a testament to his architectural nightmare. The enigma of Jack the Ripper takes us to 1888 London's fog-shrouded East End, where an unidentified killer slaughtered at least 5 prostitutes, mutilating their bodies with surgical precision. Dubbed Jack the Ripper, from taunting letters to police, the murders of Mary and Nichols Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly terrorized the city, exposing Victorian poverty and police incompetence. Over 100 suspects have been proposed, from royalty to immigrants, but 2025 brought a breakthrough. DNA analysis from a silk shawl linked to victim Catherine Eddowes matched 100% with Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber and known suspect. Historian Russell Edwards' findings, detailed in viral videos and articles, suggest Kosminski's mental illness fueled the rampage. A family of one victim even seeks to reopen inquests. Yet, theories persist, including absurd ones like painter Edgar Degas. Jack's anonymity fueled endless speculation, making him the ultimate unsolved horror. Albert DeSalvo, born in 1931 in Massachusetts, emerged from an abusive childhood. His father beat him and sold him into slavery as a boy, to become a petty criminal. By the 1960s, he confessed to being the Boston Strangler, admitting to strangling 13 women in their homes, posing their bodies grotesquely. Doubts lingered. DeSalvo's details mismatched some crimes, and DNA in 2013 linked him only to the final victim, Mary Sullivan, while suggesting multiple killers. Recent theories point to accomplices like George Nasser, sentenced to life in 1967 without murder charges due to confession issues. DeSalvo was stabbed to death in prison in 1973. Hulu's 2023 film Boston Strangler revives the case, questioning if this vicious, hardened criminal acted alone. His early crimes pale beside the Strangler's terror, but the full truth died with him. John Wayne Gacy, born in 1942 in Chicago, his depravity behind a clown mask as Pogo or Patches, entertaining at parties while burying horrors at home. From 1972 to 1978, he raped, tortured, and strangled at least 33 young men and boys, stashing 26 under his Norwood Park house's crawl space. A community pillar, married a Democrat precinct captain, Gacy lured victims with job promises. Arrested in 1978 after a missing boy sent lead police to his home, he was convicted in 1980 and executed by lethal injection in 1994. His last words, "Kiss my ass." Last meal, fried chicken, shrimp, fries, strawberries. Gacy's dual life exemplifies how monsters masquerade as everyday heroes, his clown persona amplifying a nightmare. Rodney Alcala, born in 1943, charmed his way onto the dating game in 1978 as a bachelor, but contestant Cheryl Bradshaw rejected him as creepy. Good instinct, Alcala had already begun killing. Convicted of 9 murders of women and girls in the 1970s, estimates reach 130, including brutal rapes and photographs of victims. Survivors like Tali Shapiro and Morgan Rowan escaped multiple attacks. Sentenced to death in 2010, he died in 2021 at 77 from natural causes. Alcala's TV appearance underscores how predators exploit charisma, his creepy vibe a warning ignored too long. Dennis Rader, born in 1945, lived a double life as a family man and church leader in Wichita, Kansas, while binding, torturing, and killing 10 people from 1974 to 1991 as a BTK killer. Taunting police with letters and clues, he was caught in 2005 via floppy disk trace. Pleading guilty, he's serving 10 life sentences. As of 2025, at 80, Rader remains incarcerated, recently comparing himself to other killers in letters. His methodical sadism reveals how ordinary facades conceal extraordinary evil. Ted Bundy, born in 1946, used his good looks and charm to lure at least 30 women to their deaths across states in the 1970s, confessing to 36 but suspected of over 100. Necrophilia and decapitation marked his crimes. Convicted in 1979 for Florida murders, he escaped twice before execution in 1989. Bundy's trial made him a celebrity, inspiring films like 2019's Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil and Vile. His cultural grip endures through docs and books. Bundy personifies a charming psychopath, fooling even girlfriends. Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, born in 1946, bludgeoned 13 women to death in northern England from 1975 to 1980, targeting sex workers. Police bungled the hunt, interviewing him 9 times. Arrested in 1981, he claimed voices commanded him. Sentenced to life. He died in 2020 from COVID-19. The 2023 ITV series The Long Shadow and 2025's Hunting the Yorkshire Ripper on Prime dramatize the failures. Sutcliffe's misogyny and police errors highlight systemic flaws. David Berkowitz, born in 1953, served in the U.S. Army and afterwards returned to New York City in 1974 and began working for the U.S. Postal Service. No one had any idea the reserve Berkowitz would become the son of Sam Killer, who pleaded guilty to 6 murders from 1976 through 1977. Berkowitz claimed he was instructed to commit the murders through his neighbor's dog, a demon-possessed Labrador retriever named Harvey. Though he later retracted this admission, he is currently imprisoned at the Shongum Correctional Facility in New York. Joel Rifkin, born in 1959, fixated on prostitutes, at least partially because of his obsession with the 1972 Alfred Hitchcock movie Frenzy. His urges turned deadly in March 1989, when he brutally killed and dismembered his first victim. Ultimately, Rifkin killed 17 women before police finally apprehended him in June 1993, with a corpse in the trunk of his car. By 1996, Rifkin was sentenced to serve at least 183 years in prison for his various crimes. Rifkin is now incarcerated at the Clinton Correctional Facility in New York and eligible for parole in 2197, when he would turn 238 years old. Jeffrey Dahmer, born in 1960, murdered 17 men between 1978 and 1991, and became known as a Milwaukee cannibal for the grisly nature of his crimes, often keeping body parts as souvenirs. He even claimed he planned to build an altar using the skulls of his victims. A prison inmate named Christopher Scarver killed Dahmer in November 1994, reportedly saying to a guard, "God told me to do it." Dahmer's crimes inspired the Golden Globe, winning 2022 miniseries Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, with Evan Peters playing the killer. Richard Ramirez became known as a Night Stalker for his crime spree throughout California that resulted in the murders of at least 14 people from 1984 through 1985. He committed at least 30 violent crimes, including rape and torture. Known for neglecting his personal hygiene, Ramirez had 9 decayed teeth and was missing several others, a distinct feature identified by multiple survivors of his attacks. He was convicted of 43 charges in 1989 and later sentenced to death. Hey, big deal. Death always comes with the territory. "I'll see you in Disneyland," he memorably said leaving the courtroom. Ramirez died on death row on June 7, 2013 from complications of B-cell lymphoma. Finally, Alexander Pichushkin, born in 1974, terrorized Moscow in the early 2000s by luring victims to the city's Bitsevsky Park before beating them and, at least initially, disposing of their bodies. He was finally arrested in 2006 after killing his supermarket co-worker. Pichushkin received his nickname, the Chessboard Killer. After police discovered a chessboard he kept with dates for each of his crimes. He had filled nearly all of the 64 squares. Despite this, police were only able to charge him with 51 counts of murder and attempted murder. Pichushkin confessed to the killings and was convicted in October 2007. "For me, a life without murder is like a life without food for you," said Pichushkin, who is currently serving life in prison. These tales of terror remind us evil lurks in unexpected places. What do you think? Could some cases like Bathory's be miscarriages of justice? Which killer haunts you most? Share in the comments and subscribe for more true crime deep dives. See you in the next one.